Well, the clock says 4. And I see we have a quorum of the city council in the room. So I will call the meeting to order. First item on our agenda this afternoon is approval of our consent agenda. We have 3 items there. First is vouchers totaling $122,940.95. Did everyone receive copies of the vouchers? Were there any questions? Next are minutes from our June 17, 2025 regular council meeting. Did everyone receive copies of the minutes? Any questions or corrections regarding the minutes? And finally, we have a CDBG extension request from H4C. And I could see we didn't get any more acronyms.
More acronyms there, just stuck in there.
Mr. Stiles.
Yeah, this is just a form that we have to fill out. There's currently a kind of an ongoing struggle with our contractor over at the daycare center about getting some things completed. They've made some errors on construction with water, and that's creating some water intrusion. And so we've been negotiating with them about making sure that that gets taken care of. And they've actually been withholding payment too. So, but with CDBG, we have to do the extension because it has a deadline of the end of it's the end of this month, or well, excuse me, the end of I think it had to be finished by the end of July. And so they're wanting to make that extension to the end of October. It will not take to the end of October. I better not take to the end of July, frankly, but we need to have that form finished, and they'll submit that to the state. This is for the state on the CDBG part.
Any questions? Hearing none, I'd accept a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted. Councilman Wilkins moves. Councilman Jorgensen seconds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now this brings us to our first opportunity for public comment. Is there anybody either online or in the room that would care to address the council at this time?
Anybody online?
Okay. Jane, it's good to see you.
I didn't make it to the grand event.
That's all right. It was a little warm out there. It's a little nicer in here. No comments at this point, Jane? All right. So we will close our first public comment opportunity and move into our business items. First item up is consideration of an engagement letter with Triplet Wolf Garrettson for bond counsel services. Mr. Stiles.
Okay, so we've got a couple things. Thank you, sir. We've got a couple things today with regard to issuing debts. This is basically a health facilities revenue bond. It's a specific type of industrial revenue bond. Salem Home has requested this. We took this up a couple meetings ago. And so in order to engage TWG on this, we have an engagement letter for bond counsel services. And so you can kind of see what they will do as bond counsel. We actually have a standing agreement that they will be our bond counsel, but this is just another piece of this puzzle. So they'll issue an opinion on with regard to the validity of all our ability to issue these bonds, the tax exempt status. It's a pretty straightforward engagement there. Estimated costs, legal services is $33,000 with an additional $1,500 for filing, traveling, shipping, printing, et cetera, et cetera. If the project is not completed, the estimate they charge, or if it's not completed under that estimate, they charge an hourly rate. So there's different rates for that. Salem Home will be responsible for the payment of those legal services and expenses, which are normally paid at closing from bond proceeds or from a direct payment from the receiver. So we're recommending approval of the engagement letter with TWG as bond counsel and moving forward with that IRB process.
Any questions? Hearing none, I'd accept a motion to accept the engagement letter with TWG for bond counsel services. Councilman McCarty moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Jorgensen seconds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is resolution 2025-08, declaring intent to issue IRBs for Salem Home Project. Mr. Stiles?
You, sir. So resolution 2508 declares our intent to issue these industrial revenue bonds. I sent out a correction earlier today. It's actually gone up. The price has gone to 3 million, or not to exceed 3 million. And that is just a factor of increased costs, I'm assuming. Is that
Yeah, the cost went up by almost 200,000 by the time we were talking about this last year in November.
And that's just a cap, obviously. When we get to closer to bond closing, we'll have a better idea of what those costs will actually be. I'm sure it'll be probably closer to 2.7 or 2.75, but it's much easier to issue less than we approve here than it is to go over, because then we have to redo the proceedings. So that's why we always pick a little bit of a higher number at this stage.
so? Approving resolution 2508 just signals our intent to issue these bonds on behalf of Salem Home for this. With an IRB structure, we become the title owner of the property until the bonds are repaid, and then we release the property back to Salem Home. It's actually Salem Hospital LLC,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah, or Inc., excuse me. Yep. And so that was another one of the corrections we put out. So all the project and issuance related costs, including legal and administrative, are paid through the bond proceeds. Really, we're kind of a conduit issuer on this. And by approving that, you're incurring the temporary debt. Excuse me. Salem may incur temporary debt or spend its own funds in reliance to this resolution. So if we issue this, then they can incur expenses that could be paid out of those bond proceeds. You're authorizing the mayor and the clerk to take any action necessary to complete this. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It will remain in effect until the end of this year, or unless otherwise extended or revoked. With an IRB issuance, we have pretty limited exposure. Salem stands to gain the tax savings from the issuance. That's kind of the benefit for them. I don't know that the rate is particularly all that much better than if you could get it in the.
It should be significantly better because it's a tax exempt rate, no over taxable rate, meaning the ultimate purchaser won't have to pay federal income tax on the interest they earn, and that usually means that they're willing to accept a lower interest rate on the debt. So that will be a significant benefit to Salem Hospital.
So if you're amenable to issuing this, we're recommending you guys adopt resolution 2508, and then move forward with getting all the issuance and everything going on that process. Excuse me.
Any questions? Okay, I'd accept a motion to adopt resolution 2025-08, declaring intent to issue IRBs for Salem Home Project.
I'll do that.
Councilman McCarty moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Whitman's seconds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we will poll the council. Councilman Jorgensen?
Yes.
Councilman Wilkins?
Yes.
Councilman McCarty?
Yes.
Okay, the resolution is hereby adopted. The mayor will sign, and we are excited that we can assist Salem Hospital in this much needed project to upgrade your HVAC system.
And I was telling Matt, if you do this, none of us will ever have to do this again. To do heating and cooling, because the current one has been there since 1974, so it's been 50 years, and the pipes are just bad. So we've been pushing it, repairing, and trying to make it work.
And again, I would like to publicly state my thanks to Peter and his team at how they have taken Salem Home and made it into a very well-run facility, and is doing very well under your leadership. And again, as a community, we thank you because it's a very valuable service to this community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next up is consideration of a renewal of the Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, with Tabor College for the Central Kansas Entrepreneurship Center, or CCAC. Mr. Stiles?
Sure. So this is kind of an annual thing. If you want to continue with this partnership, I think it's been a pretty positive partnership with Tabor. It's for the CCAC, or the Central Kansas Entrepreneurship Center. We've supported this as kind of a key part of our economic development strategy, kind of banking in on entrepreneurship development. The current MOU, it always expires. We have it set to expire June 30 of each year. So kind of matches up to the school year, more of an academic year. And it also matches up when we get tax payments too. So it makes some sense for us as well. We contribute $30,000 annually to supporting the center, which is basically $1.5 million, a little bit less than that actually. So, Tabor provides the physical location, programming, personnel, all the outreach for that goal. Got something going on out there. So this renewal would be from July of this year up to June of next year, which will be their 4th year we've had this partnership. You got a report as part of the requirements is that they provide us a report on a regular basis. So you've got the basically the full year for 2025 report from January to June there. So they've done a lot of youth engagement. There's a lot of that. So they run the YEC, the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge, lots of other events and working with Project Search and Marion County Youth Leadership and their school districts. So they do a lot of things with that. They've done a lot of public workshops. You can kind of see some lists of that stuff. Startup development, they've helped 6 people, 4 Tabor students and 2 community members in developing business plans. So those are kind of in developmental stages. They've worked with us on engaging some opportunities. We've got the Red Door Retail downtown, so that's going to be part of that moving into the future. And of course, they're building a new building. So they've got the MJR building that they're going to be doing, remodeling and then adding on to. And then they maintain a pretty active presence on social media, including being on Coffee with the Mayor, which was a pretty good episode. One thing I would note is that the current director, Jeremy Enzi, is actually transitioning to a full-time teacher's role. So they're actually back in the business of trying to fill the director spot again. Talked with President Jansen a little bit about that, and they were really working on one particular candidate that they liked. It's of course, it's always a struggle to get somebody to come in. And I think this person would probably be taking a pay cut and moving to Hillsboro. So there's a little bit more to it than that. But I think that they'll be able to get that filled relatively quickly. So the funding on allocation, we've already got this. It comes out of our industrial fund and 2 equal payments. We've got it factored in the budget, so that's not really an issue for this. And so we're recommending renewal of this MOU for this next academic year, essentially. So it will run through June of 2026, the end of June. I feel like it's produced some pretty good results from the outset. We've kind of said 4 years. That's sort of what we anticipated, at least initially, for this partnership. And then we would kind of evaluate at that point. So this is year 4. We'll see kind of how it goes. I think it's been going pretty well. I think you'd always like to see more businesses spun out and doing different things, but that's not always how it works. So I feel like they've made some pretty good investments and they've showed a commitment to this. And I think they're moving forward. So I wouldn't hesitate in renewing it for this year.
Questions?
Is Jeremy gonna go to Tabor? I mean,
What's
teach
that?
it.
Yeah, he's picking up a full-time teaching load in the business department.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I don't.
Yeah.
Has our financial commitment been 30,000 each of the 4 years now?
No, actually, it was increased 2 years ago. I think
From 25 to
20,
30.
yeah,
Oh,
25.
okay.
So it's increased a little bit over time.
I think what would be interesting is, when we're reevaluating it for next year, just have a nice little list of all the businesses that have spawned and, just different, different people that have been impacted by. Does that sort of make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, I
different people that have been involved and
Sure.
different things that have spun out from it. I think that would be nice.
Okay.
So we can have a nice little comprehensive list to just look back on.
Sure. Yeah, I can ask them to provide that. I know they have that data.
Yeah.
There may be some confidentiality, some stuff with that, but it depends.
Okay.
Or somebody come in and talk to us like the city.
What's that?
Maybe they could come in and talk to us like the city department heads do.
Yeah.
But I understand they can't use some people's names and things.
Sure. Yeah, that's actually one of the requirements within the MOU is that they'll come and provide a verbal report once a year. And they provide this written report. They're supposed to do it quarterly. We're a little bit off on the quarterly part, but they will do a verbal review too. So whoever the new director is,
Yeah.
presumably, will come in and do that.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, I'd accept a motion to renew the MOU with Tabor College for the Central Kansas Entrepreneurship Center in the amount of $30,000 annually. Councilman Jorgensen moves.
I'll second it.
Second it?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now we have Ford invoices totaling $62.43. I'm sorry I didn't bring a check.
Yeah. They take cash too. Yeah, so this is for a Ford Explorer, which is actually in the police department. I think these are supposed to be under the maintenance program, but maybe it wasn't.
Yep, we reviewed that. We had 3 maintenance items this month. 2 of them were under the program. This is the older one that I
Okay.
believe is the reserve vehicle. So,
Okay.
yep, just this one was the only one we're paying for.
Gotcha. So that's all, it's just basic maintenance, oil change, filter, all the normal things you'd expect to see. And, yeah, $62.43.
Questions? Hearing none, I'd accept a motion to approve payment of the Ford invoices totaling $62.43. Councilman Wilkins
I'll second it.
and Councilman McCarty seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are now going to move into a Public Building Commission meeting, and I will chair in the absence of Councilman By. And so we have 4 items to discuss today. The first is consideration of PBC minutes from May 20, 2025 meeting. Did everyone receive copies of the minutes? Were there any questions or corrections to the minutes?
I just noted a clerical error, and I've written that the city council met in regular session, and I'd like to change that to the PBC met.
Okay. Makes sense. So we have that correction to the minutes. Is there any other corrections or comments? Hearing none, I'd accept a motion to approve the PBC minutes for May 2025 with the corrections Danielle identified. Councilman McCarty moves.
Second.
Councilman Jorgensen seconds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have consideration of engagement letter with Triplet Wolf Garrettson for bond counsel services. Mr. Stiles?
Yes, thank you, sir. It's just pretty similar to what we had just talked about with the Salem home issuance here. TWG would be working as our bond counsel here. It's an $8 million issuance in the resolution of intent. I think I had it written on here. We've changed a few things on here, so that's what I originally had was 7.5, but it's 8 million. Same situation. They would run all the things with that. They provide the draft of all the bond documents, resolution. There's one change with regard to this. We did make a clerical change on the name of the hospital, Hillsboro Hospital LLC. We had a comma in there, and so we got that out of there. And then there was also a pay structure issue there that if we weren't to issue these bonds, that the city would pay for the services of TWG, which we have made that amendment to correct that as well. So we're recommending accepting the letter of engagement from Triplet Wolf Garrettson as bond counsels for this Hillsboro Hospital bond issuance for the Public Building Commission.
Questions?
Oh, I just have, this is just a random one. Is it common to, I guess, sort of have the other party pay for the bond fees, and is it also the legal counsel fees? And then it is also common for them to go, no, like
No.
yeah,
So it is standard that, and remember, if these get issued, it's the fees are wrapped in the issue itself and finance, and that while the debt is payable from the PBC and is leased to the city, we are subleasing that to the hospital. And so the intent, of course, is ultimately the hospital will end up paying for all of that as it comes through. So in cases of industrial revenue bonds like the Salem home deal and this one, yes, it's very common that the fees are paid by the ultimate beneficiary of that debt issuance when it's one of these kind of pass-through things. And in this case, they're still paying for the fees. It was just a sort of negotiated deal on the off chance that for some reason this doesn't happen, then they didn't want to be responsible for the not, because we won't charge the lump sum fee if we don't. We'll figure something else out. And in that scenario, we'll work it out with the city and figure out what's right in that case. And so it's a little bit, we don't usually negotiate at this point, but among the entirety of the deal, we thought that it made sense to go ahead and on this one, hopefully unlikely event, take that responsibility, and we'll work with the city on that if that event ever happened.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that
Yeah.
it just came up. So, okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, I would accept a motion to accept the engagement letter with TWG for bond counsel services. Councilman McCarty moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Jorgensen seconds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is consideration of disclosure statements from, I think it's,
Sorry, look, do I need to actually voice that I'm abstaining from the?
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize. And so in that case, then the mayor will vote aye because we'll have a tie.
And
You're in the public.
Mayor, I'll also
Oh.
remind you, you are a regular
Okay.
commissioner, and so
No,
you should
I
vote
vote-
on all these, yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, thank you. I vote aye as well. We have 3 ayes and 1 abstention. So the motion carries. Next up is consideration. Thank you,
Yep.
Ronald. I appreciate that. Next up is consideration of disclosure statements from Raymond James Associates to serve as underwriter. Mr. Stiles?
D missing on the agenda there. Yeah, so with this one, Greg Varnberg is normally serves as the city's financial advisor. But in this case, they're going to serve as our underwriter. And so when you can't occupy both roles. And so if you're going to be an underwriter, you have to have a certain, you have to have an engagement and a disclosure notice, which is required by the Securities and Exchange Commission to prevent basically somebody acting as both. So in this case, we're going to be issuing these taxable revenue bonds, and Raymond James, Greg Varnberg, is going to be acting as the underwriter. So this is the mandatory disclosure under MSRB Rule G17 and the SEC's Municipal Advisor Rule. So there's the legal documentation. There's the notation for you, but there's kind of 3 areas that they have to do: dealer-specific conflicts of interest, transaction-specific disclosures, and standard disclosures. With the dealer-specific things, Raymond James and its affiliates may trade or hold securities connected to this issuer. Raymond James may hold bonds being refunded with proceeds from this issuance. Raymond James contributes to relevant industry groups like the Kansas Government Finance Officers Association, like municipalities, and they advise entities that may end up purchasing these bonds. So we're all aware of that. Transaction-specific details. The financing structures may include some complex elements such as Cinderella bonds. Now, a Cinderella bond, as an aside, is a bond that is used to refinance or fund an existing bond at a taxable rate until a call date, at which point the old bonds are then refinanced and become tax exempt. So that's a fun fact that you can recite back to somebody if it ever comes up that you need to explain
It's
to Cinderella.
applicable to this situation.
It will not be the thing that we do here, but it's something that you now know. So, But that's part of the disclosure, so you need to know that. And the standard disclosure is that Raymond James is not acting as a fiduciary in this case to the issuer. It means that their financial interests could differ from ours. They're not obligated to act in their issuer's best interest, and compensation is typically based on a percentage of the bond amount, which may present an incentive for them to recommend more. That is not going to be the case in this. These are all just pretty standard disclosures that have to happen. So I don't feel like this is going to be an inappropriate deal. We know Greg. We have a very long relationship with Greg Varnberg and Raymond James. And so we have a pretty high level of trust that they're going to act in our interest as well as theirs. So what they're going to do in this case is they're going to serve as the underwriters, and so they may be able to get a lower bond yield, demand, a better bond, a rate, because they have a leverage system of investors in their network, and so they're going to try to either place or sell these bonds to people that they know, and then that can influence how effective and how quickly that gets done. So we're recommending acknowledging this engagement and these disclosures from Raymond James, and have them serve as the underwriter or the placement agent for us in this issuance. There's a lot of
Stuff.
technical stuff there.
Questions? I will tell the council that in my tenure as mayor, there is nobody beyond our legal counsel here whose integrity and faith that I have more in than Greg Varnberg. He has done a tremendous job as Triple Wolf and Garrettson, and saved the city a lot of money, millions of dollars over the years. And so, I have full faith and confidence in Greg Varnberg, and I hope you will come to have that same feeling of trust that I do, but he certainly earned it. Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I would accept a motion to, what are we doing here?
You are accepting and acknowledging
We're acknowledging the disclosure statements
disclosure
of Raymond
statements,
James
engaging them.
and engaging them to serve as underwriter. Does that sound good?
Move.
Councilman Jorgensen moves. Is there a second?
That's it.
Councilman McCarty seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining?
Abstain.
Okay. And I am also an aye sorry. And finally, under our last Public Building Commission item, which is going to be consideration of PBC Resolution PBC 2025-01, which is a resolution of intent for issuance of bonds. Mr. Stiles?
So this is very similar to the Salem deal that we just did for as the city with this Public Building Commission. In this case, this is for the for the hospital refunding and refinancing of outstanding obligations that they have, up to $8 million. Won't really go back over all the details of why. I mean, that decision's been made, I think, as far as how we've gone through that. This just authorizes the intent to do that again. So this will get the process moving forward and allow that to move forward effectively. So.
Okay, any questions? Hearing none, I would accept a motion to adopt resolution PBC 2025-01, which is a resolution of intent for issuance of bonds.
Move.
Councilman Jorgensen moves. Councilman McCarty seconds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we will poll the Public Building Commission. Councilman Jorgensen?
Yes.
Councilman Wilkins?
Abstain.
Councilman McCarty, and the mayor is yes. So PBC 2025-01 is hereby adopted, and we will sign it. Next up, we have an executive session for personnel. And the motion will be that we move the city council recess into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters of non-elected personnel pursuant to KSA 75-4319B1 for a period of 20 minutes. Is that going to be enough?
Probably, I don't know, you tell me.
I'm thinking 20 minutes
20 minutes.
is going to work. 20 minutes. The meeting will include the city administrator and city attorney. The open meeting will resume at 4:50 PM. Would somebody care to make that motion?
Motion.
Okay, Councilman Wilkins moves. Is there a second? Councilman McCarty seconds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Peter.
You might need to grab one out of that.
Motion carries. We're now in.
Okay.
Well, I hope you enjoyed your tenure with the city.
Well, yeah, I did. Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Joke that you can do anything you want on your last day.
I would have like teed it up for some.
Yeah.
I know.
No.
Okay, we are back in open session. Let the record state that there was no action taken during the executive session. And at this point, based on the review, I'm looking for a motion to go ahead and award Matt the 1% merit increase that the rest of the employees were subject or available to.
I'll make that motion.
Councilman McCarty moves.
Second?
Councilman Jorgensen seconds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And Matt, you know, again, 1% may not convey the actual, again, esteem that we have for you and the pleasure we have with the performance that you've delivered for the city of Hillsboro. But thank you very much.
Appreciate it, thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, next up, we get to have Matt talk about himself. City administrator's report. Well,
Talking
actually,
about
not
much about
yourself.
myself at all.
Well, just
Yeah, fair
stuff
enough.
going on.
Yeah, a couple things. I just wanted to bring to your attention, we've had some issues with flooding at the PD office. Jesse, Chief Hebert's office has had some large amount of water intrusion. So we've got this issue coming from the roof and we think from the facade on the front of the building. We've tried to track it down, try to get it fixed, and we're just striking out. And so they've had to clean up water a couple different times here, and I think it's something we need to have on our radar and plan to figure out for them. You know, as we're working through this fire station thing, we need to be thinking about the PD too as well. So they've been in that building for almost 20 years, and it's done them well in that building, but it is showing its age and its defects there. So we've talked about, you know, Chief and I have talked a little bit about where we could get them. Of course, they love the size of the space they have, and there's no way on earth we could ever build them something, you know, quite that big again. But there may be some other ways we can adjust that to make it adequate for them. So, but it's not great that we having them in there. You know, they could have mold issues. We're getting it remediated, but it's, you know, it's going to be a continuous problem, that building. So. Just putting that on your radar when we think about what comes next. We got the fire station, and we need to be thinking about police too. So I need to make you aware that I did approve electric purchase for Grand Oaks Apartments, 2 100 kVA transformers, pad mounts to replace their existing transformers over at Grand Oaks. Because of the purchasing policy, I'm allowed to go to transformers up to 15,000, but I got to notify you, so I'm notifying you that I did that. Senior Center support, you got to attach the letter that they've requested the second half of their allocation of 10,000, which we've provided through our budgeting. They provided all the documentation that we've asked for, and so they continue to do a large volume of meals. And they are a really critical piece for area seniors to make sure that they get an adequate nutrition. I'm not sure, there's some federal legislation that could cut that. I'm not sure what that's gonna look like, with aging centers, but it's important that we continue, I think, to support that. And they've met all their obligations, so we'll go ahead and process the second half of that payment. A little bit of update on the fire station progress. I've gotten actually probably closer to 3/4 of the documents sent over to USDA for that. There's a clarification I need on their environmental assessment. I was informed by Senator Moran's office that there's really no mechanism for correcting the error that Representative Schmidt, their office, encountered with the appropriations. But they did, Moran's legislative director was opening to supporting a new fiscal year 27 appropriation, which would hit in October of next year. So that might work out okay. I'm certainly not going to turn it down. We may want to increase the price because we're going to have to kind of negotiate the size of this thing, and I'm a little concerned about the price. 6.2 million is kind of what we were asking for originally. We may bump that up to 7. And we may be able to do something with the police department if we were able to maybe juggle some of that too. So there may be some opportunities with that. We're going to continue to follow both tracks with the loan and the appropriation so that we can kind of keep those going at the same time. And then just want to make you aware I'll be out of the office for a few days on Thursday the 3rd, Friday the 11th, and the week of the 21st to the 28th. So I'll have my phone on me. I'll have email. I wouldn't expect a real quick call back, but I will definitely get you back. So that is all I had today, sir.
Any questions for Mr. Siles?
I do have a couple. With the approval that you said that you did for the transformers, I mean, have you noticed that, with the rising costs of things, for something like a transformer or anything else, that it's caused an unnecessary delay with the current, $15,000 limit? I mean, do you think that we need to can we increase his purchasing power if need? I mean, nothing crazy, but
yeah,
have you encountered any, unnecessary delays just due to it with things just getting expensive?
Not specifically. I can tell you that stuff is way more expensive on the electric side. You could spend as much money as you want to. Over there on that side, they don't touch anything for less than $4,000. It seems like anymore. So, no, I don't think so at this point.
Okay.
We've been able to kind of get the process. Everything sort of falls in line, and you guys can approve those things. I don't necessarily want more spending authority there. But I can tell you that those transformers 4 years ago wouldn't have been over 10,000 probably. So, I mean, that's where we're at. That's just a fact of electric stuff. So.
Good. Oh, did you? Okay. And then my second comment is in regards to the senior center. How long have we been allocating 10,000 to them?
3 years.
That's what I was thinking. 3.
This is the 3rd year, I think.
Is there a chance? I mean, I don't know how their numbers, if they've had, an increase in meals that they've been doing, but do we need to look at, I know it has to be for next year because it's already budgeted, but do we need to look at maybe sitting down and talking with them and seeing if we need to allocate more? Or
I don't think they'd ever turn you down.
Yeah.
When they came in and asked for that money, they were doing a lot more fundraising. And I think that leadership group at least, has gotten older and wanting to do less and less of that. And they actually have had some transitions there too. So I don't know that I can answer that question, but if their federal funding was to change through the Department of Aging or however that comes through, they may have some comments about that, and we can keep those lines of communication open.
Okay.
Certainly is something it's completely up to you guys if we wanted to change that allocation, because it's set by you, it's approved by you, appropriated by you. That was just the number that they negotiated originally. So
I say they'd be happy to have you come in there and talk to them.
Oh, absolutely, they love
They
talking.
would.
Yeah,
They're
they'll buy
always
you
glad.
lunch too.
Okay.
You can get a sampling of what they serve.
Yeah.
Probably what I do. I just go down there and ask them because they know
Okay.
all you needed.
Okay.
They sure will. You will be like an extra grandchild. Some of them
The in-person meals that they do, or do they deliver quite a
they do the
few?
meal and
Yeah,
wheel.
we do the Meals on Wheels.
Yeah,
It's Meals
So
on
yeah,
Wheels.
they have the in-person meals, and then Because I know, because I do it with the hospital.
Okay.
And yeah, there's quite a few meals that get delivered every day. I mean, the hospital delivers at least 10 to 15 per day. I mean, we do it for that whole week. And then, there's also different groups that also do it as well. So yeah, no, they deliver quite a few meals. So, maybe they can sit and talk and see how their needs have changed, I suppose.
I think it's I think it's an ever evolving
Yeah.
kind of conversation with that, especially when they don't know what the future holds
Yeah.
with aging.
Yeah, no, it just came up to me because at least to me, 10,000 sounds like a lot of money to me.
Sure.
But, I know sometimes it just doesn't stretch as far, and, seeing their letter here just made me wonder. So,
Yeah, fair.
yeah.
I think we can have those conversations if you want to.
I'd say a lot of the people I deliver meds to,
Mhm.
a lot of them get Meals on Wheels. I'm surprised how many say, well, I'm waiting for my Meals on Wheels. Okay,
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that works too, because it's not necessarily free. There's a $2.25, and there's a sliding scale, and it's actually a little bit more complicated than I expected.
Yeah, that's
But that's how they kind of recoup
not a
some of
bad
that.
price.
2.25. Yeah, I challenge you to find a meal for $2.25.
Right.
And the meals are good. I can attest to that. The meals are delicious.
They have good food. I've
it's
ate there a
great.
few times.
Some of them are pretty good. Yeah.
Do they provide a report to us
Mhm.
on an annual basis, like
Yeah,
numbers?
we get a month. They do a monthly thing that they send
Okay.
to the Department of Aging, and then they collect those and give us the full packet of those whenever I ask for them. I don't have them computed yet, but they did give me I asked for the full year. And I go back and usually just look at kind of what they do. It's over 10,000 meals a year. Quite a bit. Yeah. It's just pricing volume.
Any other comments or questions for Mr. Stiles? Hearing none, we'll open our final opportunity for public comment. Is there any public comment that anyone wants to make to the council? Hey, hearing none, we'll close that and we'll go to council comments. Councilman McCarty?
Just kind of nitpicking, but Mayor Dalkey worked really hard to get the fireworks ordinance going again so we could shoot fireworks in town. And I kind of wish some people would obey the time limits instead of shooting when they're not supposed to. I mean, I know the police can go and deal with them, but I don't want them to ruin it for everybody that likes to shoot fireworks. And if they keep shooting fireworks when they shouldn't, there'll probably be some complaint, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think they ought to abide by our rules and regulations to try to keep it going.
Okay. Councilman Wilkins?
I would just like to urge the public to stay hydrated. It's very hot outside, hot and humid. So just, please drink your water, stay in some shade. That's all I got, sir.
Okay. Councilman Jorgensen?
And that transitions us into getting a snow cone tonight.
Oh, yeah.
There you
I
go.
think we're gonna join Big Lou for a snow cone at the Igloo tonight.
That's right, 7 o'clock. Come down and then join us at the Igloo and have a Big Lou with Big Lou. So look forward to
You guys
that.
are going on, so you'll get, have to answer to
No, I
the.
didn't even do the groundbreaking today. That was like
And,
Groundbreaking.
completely.
and to that point, we did have a very nice groundbreaking ceremony out at Orchard Ridge, and I appreciate the council members for coming out and supporting that. And I, just can't wait to see that thing go up. It's going to be a huge thing for our community.
You said a year, right? Is that what you said?
He said it'd be done in a year.
This time next year.
Yeah. Really think about it. That's a great deal for the city.
Yep. And, let's not forget to mention, the private development on Ash Street that's going on. That first duplex has made a lot of progress. They've got pretty much the exterior with maybe some stonework around the front. And then they were cutting the driveways in, doing curb cutting today. And so that was some major move forward, but it's going fast. And looking forward to having those 3 duplexes, 6 living units. So we throw that in with our 24 up here. That count comes to 30 by my math.
I don't know if we're lucky, but we've been, I don't know, for some reason, Hillsboro, we've been doing some good stuff. I mean, people come to town because they like it. They build stuff here because they like it. I think we need to keep up the good work.
Well, I think this, this momentum, this success breeds success. And I think we'll continue to see things start to happen now, maybe more than has happened in the past as a result. That's what I'm anticipating. So. Is there any other business that needs to come before the council? Hearing none, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Talking about the duplexes, I had a constituent ask and I didn't know, Matt, maybe you know, so are they gonna be backing out into the street, for?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they go out onto the
Alright,
ash,
alright.
except for the third one, which faces.
The final one, that will be the
Faces south,
sixth.
face south.
Will be
onto-
Willow Road.
Five to
Have the
six.
front door.
Yeah.
It has a Willow Road.
Surprised me a little bit that there must be some reason they don't go out the
People
back.
on Ash actually back out.
100%.
Yeah.
You're on that one.
And,
Lower speed limit if you like it.